Empress Dowager Cixi. The name echoes through history. She was a concubine who became the most powerful woman in China. How did she achieve such power? Was she a brilliant strategist or a ruthless tyrant? Cixi's story is one of ambition, intrigue, and ultimately, tragedy. Born in 1835, Cixi entered the Forbidden City as a low-ranking concubine. The Forbidden City, with its red walls and golden roofs, held the emperor and all his power. Cixi, however, was determined to rise above her station. She gave birth to a son, a direct heir to the throne. This was her first step towards ultimate power. The young concubine was cunning and ambitious. She observed the court's intricate workings. Cixi learned the art of manipulation. She understood the power of loyalty and fear. These skills would prove invaluable in the years to come. The Dragon Throne, a symbol of absolute authority, awaited, and Cixi would stop at nothing to claim it for herself. Life in the Forbidden City was a dangerous game. Alliances shifted like sand. Enemies lurked in every shadow. Cixi, despite her low rank, navigated these treacherous waters with surprising skill. She befriended influential eunuchs. She learned to read the emperor's moods. Emperor Xianfeng, weak and easily swayed, became increasingly reliant on Cixi. She was intelligent and ambitious. Her advice, often whispered in the dead of night, held sway over the emperor. Cixi's influence grew, much to the dismay of her rivals. The emperor's health deteriorated. Cixi, sensing opportunity, made her move. She forged an alliance with Empress Dowager Cixi, the emperor's wife. Together, they would control the young heir after Xianfeng's death. The stage was set for a power struggle that would determine the fate of China. Emperor Xianfeng's death plunged the court into chaos. Cixi, however, was prepared. She and Qian, now co-regents, seized control of the government. The young emperor, Tongji, was but a pawn in their game of power. Cixi, the more ambitious of the two women, gradually took the reins. She outmaneuvered her opponents, banishing some and silencing others. Her grip on the throne tightened. Cixi ruled through her son, whispering decisions in his ear. The boy emperor, naive and inexperienced, became her puppet. The Forbidden City buzzed with whispers of Cixi's growing power. Some admired her political acumen, others feared her ruthlessness. One thing was certain: Empress Dowager Cixi had become a force to be reckoned with. Years passed. Cixi's influence over the young emperor remained absolute. She dictated his every move, controlled his every decision. The court officials, once loyal to the emperor, now bowed to Cixi. Her word was law. Cixi, however, craved more than just influence. She desired absolute power. When Tongji came of age, she refused to relinquish her regency. The emperor, weak and indecisive, posed no threat. He remained under his mother's thumb. Cixi's thirst for power was insatiable. She surrounded herself with loyal followers, rewarding those who served her and punishing those who dared to question her authority. The Forbidden City, once a place of imperial grandeur, now felt like a gilded cage, and Cixi held the key. Tragedy struck when Emperor Tongji died suddenly. He was young, only 19 years old. Rumors of foul play spread like wildfire through the Forbidden City. Cixi, some whispered, had orchestrated her own son's demise. Whether or not the rumors were true, Cixi wasted no time in consolidating her power. She chose her nephew, the infant Guangxu, as the new emperor. Once again, Cixi declared herself regent, ruling in the child's stead. Her grip on the throne was now unbreakable. Cixi's reign was one of contradictions. She was a shrewd politician, adept at navigating the treacherous waters of court politics. Yet she was also deeply conservative, resistant to change and suspicious of the outside world. Under her rule, China stagnated, clinging to the past while the world raced ahead. As Cixi's power grew, so too did her extravagance. She lavished herself with luxurious robes, exquisite jewelry, and opulent feasts. The imperial treasury, once overflowing, began to dwindle under the weight of her spending. The common people, meanwhile, suffered. Floods and famines ravaged the land. Taxes rose while government corruption went unchecked. Resentment towards Cixi and the Qing Dynasty festered. Whispers of rebellion began to circulate. Secret societies formed in the shadows, plotted against the Empress Dowager. Cixi, blinded by her own power and isolated within the Forbidden City walls, remained oblivious to the growing discontent. The seeds of revolution had been sown. Emperor Guangxu, now a young man, grew increasingly frustrated with his aunt's iron rule. He yearned to modernize China, to strengthen its military and reform its government. He surrounded himself with progressive advisors, eager to embrace change. Cixi, however, would not tolerate any challenge to her authority. She saw Guangxu's reforms as a threat to her power. In a swift and decisive coup, she placed the emperor under house arrest, confining him to an island within the Forbidden City. Cixi's actions sent shockwaves through China. The emperor, a symbol of hope for a brighter future, had been silenced. The people, already burdened by poverty and oppression, felt betrayed. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the Qing Dynasty. The Boxer Rebellion, a violent uprising fueled by anti-foreign sentiment, erupted across China. The Boxers, a secret society trained in martial arts, targeted foreigners and Chinese Christians, blaming them for the country's woes. Cixi, sensing an opportunity to rid herself of foreign influence, initially hesitated to intervene. She saw the Boxers as a useful tool, a way to weaken the Western powers that threatened her rule. However, the violence escalated, spiraling out of control. Foreign powers, outraged by the attacks on their citizens, sent troops to quell the rebellion. Cixi, realizing she had miscalculated, fled Beijing disguised as a peasant woman. The once mighty Empress Dowager had become a fugitive in her own land. Cixi returned to Beijing, a shadow of her former self. The Boxer Rebellion had weakened the Qing Dynasty beyond repair. Foreign powers imposed humiliating treaties, stripping China of its sovereignty. The people, disillusioned and angry, demanded change. In 1908, Cixi died under mysterious circumstances. Some whispered that she had been poisoned, perhaps by enemies within the court. Her death, shrouded in secrecy and speculation, marked the end of an era. Just 3 years later, the Qing Dynasty collapsed. China, once ruled by emperors for millennia, became a republic. Cixi's legacy, a complex tapestry of ambition, ruthlessness, and ultimately failure, continues to be debated by historians to this day. Was she a brilliant strategist who kept China from collapsing sooner? Or was she a tyrant who clung to power at the expense of her people? The answer, perhaps, lies somewhere in between.